Welcome to the Apply Online webinar. What we'll cover today is basically how to submit loans through to the lenders using Apply Online. Apply Online is a third-party application that sits between Mercury and the lenders. What it allows us to do is take the details that you've put into an opportunity and transfer it through to Apply Online. From there, you'll add details as needed depending on the lender that you've chosen and submit it through to the lender systems directly. I'll use one of the opportunities that we have here as a demo. This one is ready to go to the lender. It has my contact details in there. We've got some products selected. We've chosen a lender. Before you can submit to Apply Online, you would select a lender here, and this basically determines the kind of application that you're going to be completing. For this one, it'll be an ANZ application. Each lender application is slightly different. Once we're ready to submit to Apply Online, we'll go to the top of the screen here and click on Start Apply Online Application. Now this is going to open the Apply Online application in a web browser. We recommend using Chrome just because it has the least amount of errors with Apply Online, but other browsers will also work as well. So we'll see the loan details have come across here into a number of different tabs. On the right hand side is the lender logo, just to show you which lender you're writing the loan for, and the application ID is on the left hand side. This is an ID unique to Apply Online. This ID is automatically recorded into the loan in Mercury. If we just go back there, we'll see that the Apply Online ID is now in this field here. So that basically links the Apply Online application back to the Mercury opportunity. We'll click on Save and Exit, and I'll show you another way you can access Apply Online. Just from the dashboard here, if you click on this link, it will open Apply Online at the Apply Online dashboard. And this just has a few statistics and your recent lodgements that you've made. This one we've just created today. You can click on that there and it takes you to the same application. What you would usually do is start here and work through the loan this way, following the tabs. Along the top of the page here, you'll also see we've got these buttons. What they do, this one will obviously save. This one is used when you're ready to print your loan documents. Apply Online automatically grabs the information from the application and puts them into PDF for you. So it actually opens a box here with all of the default forms ticked. You just click on Print and it would print them. If you have selected certain features, it might print more or less of these documents. Clicking on Print, you'll see another window opens up, and this is a PDF of your loan data. All of the data you've entered in there will come through here. Obviously we haven't entered much so far. Show validation, if you click this, it removes all of the crosses. Now this might be useful if you are running through the application with the client at the same time, just makes it look a bit more friendly. But if you're not seeing crosses, just click on this button and it will toggle the crosses back. Validate we'll cover a bit later. And submit when you're ready, we'll submit through to the lender. View XML you don't need to worry about, that's for Apply Online to look at. Sometimes you may notice that there are more options up here. I know that CBA allows you to edit your applications after they've been submitted. Most lenders don't let you do that. Once you've submitted it, you'll see that Edit to Resubmit button appear at the top. What you would do is click on that button, you'd make the change and then submit it through to the lender again. Cloning is used if you've started on the Apply Online application but you would like to change the lender. What you do is click on Clone here, select a clone reason, put in the reason here, select your broker and select your new lender. Just give it a go now. Right, so what it's done is taken all of the same details entered here, and now you can go on to submit it to Bank SA. But you'll notice the application ID is different. It's important to note down this one. It starts with a 7 instead of an MER. What you'd want to do is link this new loan application back to your Mercury opportunity. To do that, you would just copy the application ID here, go back to your opportunity in Mercury, and paste it in here. If for some reason you would like to make a new opportunity for your cloned application, you can definitely do that. We would just click on Add an Opportunity and paste in the Apply Online ID here. Now this would obviously be the Bank SA application. Once the Bank SA application has gone through, you can click on Update from Apply Online, and that will bring through all of the details back to this opportunity. The contact details, assets and liabilities, most of the details will come back through here, as well as the loan amounts and everything you see here. Just remember that the loan does have to have been submitted to the lender first. It'll bring back the lender reference as well, the settlement date, it'll bring back everything. So if you're still editing the application, you can't bring the data back. We'll jump back to Apply Online now, back to our first application. We'll quickly run through this summary tab here, which is the first tab. At the top here you'll see the lender section. Now the application number and submission ID, these details will be filled in once the loan is submitted. Now what you would do as you work down is just look at the crosses here. This just signifies data that's missing, information that is still needed by the lender. If you hover over the cross, it tells you exactly what is missing. So each one will have a different description. You can also click on Validate at the top of the screen, and that will give you a list of all of the details in this tab that are missing. On the summary page, probably the most important detail of the entire application is the broker ID. In ANZ case, it's called the AO and SAO number. Sometimes it's just called the broker code. What this does is links the application to the loan writer, and for commission purposes as well. So it's very, very important that this number is correct. It does usually generate automatically depending on who the loan writer is in Mercury, but again, it's very important just to double check that this number is correct, as well as the details entered in here. So what you would do is follow through the tab, just make sure all of the information that's come through is correct. The comment section here is just to add sort of an overview of the loan. The lenders will read the comment section, so if there's any details that you feel is particularly important, or just a loan summary, or details that may be missing from the application as you work through it, just enter it in here. We'll move along to the Applicants tab, and I'll show you exactly how we can remove some of these validation errors. So this one's quite simple. You must enter a title. We'll just say Mr. Demo Dummy. I need to enter a date of birth. So we'll click on Save, and we'll notice how these validation errors will then disappear. So it's basically as simple as entering the details that are needed, click on Save, and you'll see them disappear as you go. If you go to another tab, it also automatically saves the data. If you decide halfway through the application that you need to add another borrower, you can just click on New here, or you can delete the borrowers that you've added. You can basically add and remove and change any details that you need. Once the loan has been submitted to the lender, you can transfer all of the new details back to Mercury. We'll move on to the next tab, which has some of the loan details. This tab is where you would select the loan product. You do have to have a look through the products here. We'll say this one's a construction of dwellings. Save the changes. Now these, again, just if you hover over these, it tells you exactly what the issue is. This one, it says it's not supported by the lender. What we'd recommend is just to fill in as much details as you can. You might find that once you've selected the products and you've entered the amounts and everything down the page here, it actually gets rid of some of those top errors. So if you are confused, just go through and enter what you can throughout the whole application, and you'll probably find the errors have all disappeared. So we've selected a loan purpose. We'll scroll down here and select the actual loan product. Now what you'll see here are the products that are compatible with the loan purpose you've selected. You can click on show all, and this will show you all of the products available, but they might not be compatible with the loan purpose, so you're likely to get a red cross if you select them. So we'll switch back to this and we'll just select this one here. Scrolling back to the top, we'll click save and see which errors have gone away. Yep, so it's gotten rid of a couple of errors there. Just a few more details needed and this tab would be complete. Once a tab has been completed, all the errors are removed, you'll see a green tick here. The aim of Apply Online is to get all of the green ticks across all of the tabs at the top. Now you might notice an orange exclamation mark next to some parts of the application. This will not prevent an application from submitting, it's just to draw attention to something that might be missing. So in this case, please provide details of any deposit and contributions associated with this loan detail. If you don't provide them, it won't prevent submission, but it's something that you might want to look at. Moving on to the security tab. This tab will list all of the securities that you have in the opportunity. An important field to note is the contract price. This field is actually used to calculate the LVR, so it's important that it is filled in, otherwise you might see a strange LVR later on in the application. A pre-approval checkbox in case it is a pre-approval. For pre-approvals, obviously you won't have an address yet, so what we recommend is if the lender does require an address, we would just put 1 TBA Street in a suburb close to where it might be. I will just show an example of that. 1 TBA Street, and that should be fine. We'll move on to financial position. And again, the client details will all have been brought through. These red crosses here mean that you need a tick in here. These statements are all required for each applicant. And moving on to the loan summary. This tab is just a summary of what you've entered in the loan. So once you've entered all of the details, obviously there won't be errors here. It'll actually show you the LVR that the application is calculated, base LVR, all of these details will be filled in. And it's just basically a sanity check, so you can run through and see what you've entered. If you've got a strange LVR, you can actually click on this here and it'll show you which fields make up the LVR, so you can go back and see maybe you haven't entered a security amount or something like that. The status tracking tab is very useful once you start submitting the application. It basically tracks every step of the application. We can see it was sent to Apply Online by Joe Webinar, and once you submit, it'll show all of the lender messages that come back. Some of the things you might see here are referred, conditionally approved. If there is an error, it'll often show here as well, and you can expand the error by clicking on a little blue arrow on the left there, and it often tells you what the error is. If you can't figure out what the error is, just submit a help desk ticket and we can have a look for you. Sometimes we are able to figure out what the error is here, otherwise we can escalate it to Apply Online. The other products tab isn't really used that much. If you would like to refer the clients on for other products, you do that here. Or you can click on no, I do not want to create additional product referrals. The internal notes tab is a place for you to keep your own data. This does not go through to the lender. It's not really used that much, but just in case, you can put a note in here and find it again in here next time you come to the application. Once you're ready to submit the loan, once you have green ticks all along the top, you would click on Submit. Once there's green ticks, Submit will also be your next action. What it will do is run through all of these items here. So obviously this one failed at the validation check. There's still a lot of red crosses there. Once it reaches the end, receipt received, that means it's reached the lender system. And once it has reached the lender system, back in the summary tab, you'll be able to see the application number there, and it should also be emailed to you if you have email notifications turned on. By default, the email notifications and SMS notifications are turned on, so you should receive that via email. That'll let you submit your supporting documents through. Now, some lenders do have an extra tab at the top. Westpac and St George currently have the ability to upload supporting documents straight to the application, and that is covered in another webinar. Right, so we've covered how to submit an application. We'll just go through these buttons at the top just to see what they do. Once you're in Apply Online, you can start an application directly from here without going through Mercury. Just click on New Home Loan Application, and you can select the broker and the lender there. The View drop down lets you view submitted applications. You can view only drafts, only submitted, or all of them. And there's just a couple of search fields. You can search by last name, first name, and you can change the loan writer. What this does is lets you see loans submitted by other loan writers in the company, or you can select anyone and see loans submitted by all of the people in the company if you need. If you're having any troubles here, some users find nothing will show up. If you just click on Reset Form, that should fix that problem. The Information tab has a few how-to videos that might be useful for you to go through. The Reports tab has a couple of default reports. These are made by Apply Online. There's not much we can do to change them. They are how they are. The user account is where you change some of your settings. So you can see we've got the main email address here. The additional email address, if you've got one entered, it means that any correspondence from the lender will go to that email address as well. So that means when your application is submitted, those messages that say, hey, it's been conditionally approved, they'll go through to that additional email address. You can update your details just by clicking on this little notepad here. And you'll see this is where you would add extra email addresses. Separate additional email addresses with commas. We just enter the next email address here. The Events section here will show you which notifications you're set up to receive. So when an application passes through to each of these statuses, you will usually receive an email or SMS or both. And you can set it so that you don't receive them just by unclicking the tick box here. So if you didn't want to receive the application received emails, you would just untick this checkbox. We don't really recommend that you do that because it is always good to have emails just for reference. And that covers everything for the Apply Online webinar. Thanks for watching.